Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll, and I wanted to tell you Happy Memorial Day. I hope you enjoy family and remember all of our loved ones, especially those who fought for our country and our freedom. And I did want to tell you that I did finish cleaning my house after my last post. I did finally get that done, so feeling good about that. And today I am going, and also we did get to go around to some of the grave sites and be with some of our family. And today I'm going to try to get with my garden to-do list and see what all I can get done. This little rose, this little miniature rose is blooming today, and there's some pretty Sweet William, and then the blue in front of it is some more of that Trinity plant or widow's tears, and I definitely need to get that out of the ground and put it in a pot. I may put it right back in that spot. It's pretty there, but I know that it can choke everything else around there if I leave it long enough to do so, which hopefully I won't. So one of my next jobs will be to get out here and spray for insects like this one right here. This is a little, I don't know the name of this bug, but it's horrible. It will absolutely eat the bloom right off of there. And it also flies. So I have several jobs that I need to line up for this week. Of course, spraying for insects is one main one. Also, these trees back here, I need to spray all of those. And behind the weeping willow, the willow may end up being susceptible to bagworms. I'm not sure, but I know that these trees, the evergreens, and then this little pussy willow back here, they do get bagworms on them if I don't spray them. Usually if I spray them soon enough, they don't even get them on there, so that's the way I like it. And here's my white and green container. This is what happens to me. Look at these volunteers. I didn't even have any. I think I only had white petunias in there. But anyway, now I have a purple one. I am going to take that one out though and see if I can't keep this white and green at least a little while longer. And we already had a 1/2 inch in this little rain gauge, and now we have 2 7/10. So actually we got 2 2/10 more inches of rain last night, which was great. We're still here in our part of Oklahoma. We actually have been in a drought, and I don't even know if we're out of the drought yet. So we, in this particular area, have not had enough rain that we would be complaining. But we have had a lot of rain. Even I am ready for the sun to shine for a little bit. And there's been a lot of places in Oklahoma that have had very, very destructive rains. So our prayers are out to them, and hopefully they'll get over the most of it. I know that there actually were some deaths, and those things you don't get over. So I'm ready for the rains to stop for a while. But I do mean just a while, because rain is still a good thing in my book. As far as I still love the rain. I hope we get more, even though like we've had this washout ourselves, even because it came so fast and following other rains. So I don't ever want the rains to go away and not come back again, but I do wish they would kind of even out a little bit so we could enjoy them all through the season. And for right now, I'm totally thankful for all the rains we got. The garden is responding very well to it. And like I say, we haven't particularly had anything really destructive in our area. So I am still very thankful for the rains. Just look how this concoleus has taken off with all the rains we've been having. It's done so well. Another job I need to do is to take out this widow's tears, this pretty pinkish purple or bright pink. It's very pretty, but I don't want it there. I certainly don't want it there because it has choked out at least one other plant, maybe more than that. So I am going to try to get that up at my earliest convenience, which I'm not yet sure when that will be, but as pretty as it is. I need to put it in a pot so it can't continue to destroy something else. I need to cut down my mums by about half, and I've read that if you do that at least in June, that they still have time to make their pretty fall flowers. And if you cut them down, they don't just flop over when they get wet and they're this tall. Lots of times they'll just fall over into the ground and not stand up pretty. I like the pretty little round mounds if I can get them that way. That's my preference. So I'm going to try to get that done where they'll be chopped off just about half of what I've got there, maybe just a third of it. And over here too, these are not quite as tall right now, but they'll get taller if you leave them, and they'll also cover up my little angel right there, and they'll also flop over and not be as pretty as they will be if I'll get out here and trim them back a little so they won't be as tall. Now this over here is the tall phlox, and it doesn't fall over and look floppy. It just stands up and it'll get its big fluffy, wonderfully smelling blooms on top of it. In the end of June or first part of July, they'll be gorgeous. This little concoleus here, it just kind of wilted down, and all around it I've clipped off its petal or foliage, but now it's perked back up. Even though it's still small, you can tell it's liking that I did that, and it's liking where it is. This is one of the pretty little miniature hollyhock with the pretty purple blooms on it. But this one also, if it's good really to just clip it back before it goes to seed, because it will just be everywhere more than I want to deal with. But I still like it. It's still very pretty. Just don't want it to become a problem. I seem to just go like from one bloom to another bloom and one job to another job in the garden, because I'm already counting out the jobs that I need to do for this coming week. Speaking of going from one bloom to the next, look what I found. When I first saw this, I thought it was a petunia, but no, it's growing on that vine. So this is and I forgot the name of it, Rosie Returns or Rosie something, Black-Eyed Susan vine. And this is my early girl tomato. So at least I'm going to have one tomato because it was on there when I purchased it. I see that my pretty little mandevilla has a bud there. Look there. And I took off the bad leaves, but these are the leaves I found on it, and I'm not sure if that's from being wet and not having this sunshine. As you know, we have had the most rain we've had since I've been gardening, which has been actually wonderful. But I don't know if that's from that or if it's an insect. I don't know really what the problem there is. Looks like there's another one right there that I could probably go ahead and take off too. And there's more of the pretty verbascum or mullein also that may end up being a problem, and I may be wishing I had not have done, but it's so pretty right now. I'm just catching butterflies sitting on top of heads and other body parts today. I think this little Kong coleus is going to end up being a standout this year in the garden. I hope it does. I've also noticed that it too has several holes in it there from insects, but it's still very pretty. And I just noticed back behind it there I have another rose blooming right there. Look at this beautiful Bernaria. Isn't that pretty? And right over, not too far from it, the Herca are really doing good. Beautiful clematis blooms. More beautiful clematis. These are a little bit darker. So pretty. I love clematis. I guess you can probably tell. They're just so pretty. And they take your eye upward so it's not all on one level. And it's just eye-catching in the garden. This little sedum has started up good again. It was just barely there when the season started, but it's already reaching out. It'll probably fill this pot totally up by the end of the season. The pretty bright blue larkspur, or purple if you prefer, which seems like most people do. I just call it blue. Looks like some kind of electric blue to me. Another job that I remember I need to do is to put plant food on my plants, especially these Calabachoa, because I've read that they love, they're heavy feeders. They want you to feed them at least every 2 to 3 weeks. So I did put osmosis coat in when I planted them, so they should be okay right now, but I'm sure it's time for them to have some extra food also. They still look kind of scraggly, but I'm hoping these will fill out and just really just make that whole pot look gorgeous. So actually I'm hoping it will do that to all 3 of these bottom pots. This one, and this one. I hope those will just fill out and be beautiful. Hopefully I'll just get so many pictures of them for you as they get bigger and more and prettier. But of course, if that shouldn't happen, what I'll end up doing is putting little coleus clippings or something that I can start easily in there. and not just leave them empty. But hopefully these will do wonders for me. This one is really looking good with its bloom. That's a pretty bloom. But as you can see, the bottom part of it is very scraggly. So hopefully with some food that will also fill out, and it will just really look good, as well as this little one beside it is a very pretty little Calabrichoa in color. But it is just totally scraggly right now, so I'm hoping it'll also fill out. We'll see. I put a couple of more garden decor out. This one is a cross. It's made to look like barbed wire, which I really like because I'm basically a country girl. So those type of stuff. The other one is made out of like the old tin, corrugated tin that we used to have on our roof. So I'll show it to you when I get around there. There's that President Clematis again. This is probably my favorite just because it's the first one that I ever got, and the first one that actually got big and went ahead and went up the trellis and just became stunning. Not exactly yet, but another thing that's going to be blooming real soon is the lilies. I've got big buds coming out on my lilies everywhere. Oh, and another thing I need to do is get my seeds out and get some things planted. I have not planted any seeds. I've been so busy planting the plants and moving things around and doing garden posts for my YouTube channel and so many other things, visiting with family, that I have not yet got my seeds planted at all. And I definitely want to do that. I'm thinking right now zinnias and purple splash peppers for sure, but there are others that I'll find when I get to looking through my seeds, and I definitely want to plant several seeds. And this little pot of seedlings that came back from the mother plant last year, it came back from the candy cane verbena, and I bet it could use a little food too to get started good. I may have to move some of those out so that others can get bigger, or I may need to leave them also. There'll be just a big full showing, but I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with that, but definitely want each one of those. And this is another job I want to take care of. I want to fill these pots out more. I do want to keep them with the mums, I believe, and I may want to put some type of a celosia or something in the center of them. I just think that's so pretty when fall comes and you have this little plume in the center with the mums in the pretty fall colors all around it. So I want to get those. This one had quite a bit coming back, but as you can see, this one just had a little scraggly bit come back in it. So I'll want to fill those out, give them a good start for looking really good this fall. I'll definitely need to spray again for trumpet vine. This one here is one I missed last time. which the ones I got are kind of curled up, but that's all. They need sprayed, all need spraying again, because I've got to get rid of this stuff. And then look at this pretty loose strife, which it's said to be a problem invasive plant too, so I don't know, but mine never has been. As a matter of fact, it almost totally died out once, but I've got these two at least here, this one and this one, and I think I would like to put some of those in a pot. That's how I got it. For a long time I didn't know what it was called, and I just called it my Mother's Day plant, because my husband had gotten me a little container with one of these in it, and it was just so pretty in a container, as you can imagine, that color playing off of other colors. And I'm going to try to go right back here because I see more butterflies. This one's has its little wings clipped by something, and then there's another one right there, which probably won't open its wings up for us, but maybe it will. It's trying. But no, it's not going to do it, I guess. There, it's trying again. So I'm going to take you right on over here, because this is where my other little cross is. Here's some pretty little campanella bells that have opened up. And then there's, of course, more of that Trinity plant that I need to dig up. I should do that while the ground is soft and not a problem. Whether I'll get around to it then or not, I don't know, but I certainly hope that I do. Oh, looks like my little Indian angel got kind of... Well, I think she just needed to be set back down in there. But right here is where I put my other cross. So I really like it. And I just realized that I don't know what this is right here. I don't know if it might be a celosia or something I planted there, or if it could possibly be like poke, a weed, which does have a pretty berry and the birds love it, but it also is not something I want in the garden, simply because it is too hard to control. It goes everywhere. There's more of it. There would be more of it than you would want, because the birds would just carry it everywhere and it would come up everywhere. So I'm not sure about this yet. I may end up pulling this up, but I think I want to wait and see what it is. Celosia looks a lot like that when it's in bloom too, and I see that there's another lily all budded out to bloom right here. I'm still loving my new little angel right here. She just fits perfectly in my garden. I think she belonged there, and she's found her home. I thought this little butterfly would open up its wings for you, but I guess not. I think they're all pretty much trying to find a dry spot where they can all dry their wings out. Again, I found a little tattered and torn butterfly. Wonder if the storms did that to them. I guess that's certainly possible. I didn't think of that a while ago. And I had changed the soil out in this pot because everything was kind of dying out in it, and it looks like the green is all coming back, and then this let's see, some of this is new, this little red, but after I thought about it for a while, some of it was already there too. But it looks like it's going to come back now, or has a good chance to. Oh my, I went over here to show you what another job I have, because a neighbor of mine gave me these. His wife passed away, and he didn't want to take care of the plants. He said he didn't have a green thumb, but he gave them to me because he knew I loved plants, basically. But look, there's a lily already blooming. I've got to get back here and get this cleaned up and get these put somewhere where they can show off their beauty. And I thought maybe I needed to get a little front side view of this. I've been showing you these pretty blooms of the Princess Diana clematis, or clematis, but I thought I'd go around front so you could get a look at it from this side too. So look at this. This is some of the pretty little Trinity plant or widow's tears that I did get into a pot. So I think that's going to be the perfect solution to these. Just put them in a pot where they can't outgrow their bounds or bounds, and still look beautiful. And I'm seeing a pretty clematis bloom over here also. I don't know if I showed you that I did put my little pot in my little basket, and it looks good. I think maybe with all of our rains, I may get to show you some ranunculus bloom. I think that's what this and this and this is coming up, the frilly part of this. That other is probably a gladiola. I'm not sure. I'm not sure these are ranunculus, but I'm pretty sure they are. And look back here. Pretty orange. That's a butterfly plant beginning to bloom. This is a host plant to the monarch butterflies. And I'm quite sure that all the butterflies love it. I still want to put a few more of these volunteer petunias in other places. It's still too many for that pot, and there's still a few pots that could use a little extra something in them. Look at this pretty pink nemesia. And then there's another lily that's budded out to soon bloom. I also see that I have another poppy over there blooming today. It looks more white from here, so I may have to go over there and get it. The pentas are looking pretty today. And there's where I put a few more of the little volunteer petunias. And I was just thinking that I need to clip a little piece of this coleus off and start it right over here in this bare spot. And I think that will fill out that little pot just beautifully. This is called angel wings, and it starts with an S. I give up. Look up angel wings, and this will probably pop up for you. I think I'm going to enjoy it this year. And a pretty begonia. my little calabachoa here is not looking so good. I think it needs some sunshine. I put it over here partially under the eave, not totally. It gets plenty of sun there if we had sun, but we haven't been having sun. So that one and this one are looking like they need some sun, but hopefully we will be getting some before too long. I can't believe we've gone this long with mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, and rain in our weather forecast, and getting it too. I think actually God's probably answering our prayers. I've often said I think that the things that we enjoy today and sometimes take for granted are the result of prayers that our forefathers prayed when they were doing without all that stuff, and they prayed that it would be, and we're just enjoying reaping the benefits of their prayers. I had to go over to get this poppy. And as I was saying, I think we're reaping the benefits now of the prayers we prayed for those years of drought. Look, some of these little coleus that I had in the window that I put out here that I'd almost given up on are putting on new little leaves. This one not so yet, but it still could, because look at this one. Look at those tiny little leaves. Pretty soon they'll just unfurl and grow up, and you won't even be able to tell that they weren't bought this year and already started in a greenhouse somewhere, and they'll just be as great as the ones that actually were. And this little plant right here is called allium hair. It's not exactly pretty, but it is very interesting. It just kind of flares out and comes out like hairs out of that bud. Here's one you can tell a little bit better how it looks.